right, welcome everybody to our first episode of HackerKast, where we're going to cover weekly events, places we are, interesting things in the industry, mostly for those that can't spend 80 hours a week studying this stuff. So this is kind of the cheat sheet version of the application security industry. And right now, what is the date today? What's the date?
September 18th, 19th.
We should probably know this.
Whatever the date is, this is the first day of AppSec USA 2014. We are in
18th.
Denver, Colorado, and this is the place to be for application security in North America. So we're pretty happy to be here, actually.
Yeah,
and the conference is going on down below. Some of us are doing sessions, other ones are just having conversations to talk about application security. So Matt, tell us about your session. What are you up to today?
So in about half an hour, there seems to be a theme. The last time we tried one of these, I was talking in about an hour. So I'm going to be on a panel. It's called the 11,000 Voices survey of that Sonatype put out about open source software in the enterprise. So they're kind of sharing that data, and we're all kind of discussing the implications of that data, very much like our own stats report of how open source software in the enterprise, what that landscape looks like, how many people know what kind of libraries they're using, how many people know the security implications of those libraries, and so on and so forth.
So what are the spoilers? What are we going to hear from the other panelists?
Spoilers, yeah, I don't know what you're going to hear from the other panelists. Josh Corman, Derek Weeks is moderating, and there's two other gentlemen, I can't remember their names at the moment. I'm sure I'll meet them in half an hour.
So no spoilers.
No real spoilers that you would think of. It's very much the same stuff that we hear from a lot of our customers at White Hat, which is, they don't really know their landscape very well a lot of the times, and we have to kind of help them point out, okay, hey, here's your websites, here's your threats, here's the risks involved, and so on and so forth. The open source software integrated into those libraries is no different, right? It's just coded by somebody else. It's a really cool data pool, though, so I'm excited. The report's already out there, but I'm excited to get a chance to chat about it. So.
Oh, cool. And you and Jonathan Kuskos are doing the top 10 web hacks of 2013?
2013, yeah. So it sounds a little old, but all of these things being really cutting edge in 2013. How security works. It takes a few years for everyone to catch up. So I still think that it's really relevant today. We were just talking to some people earlier and listing off some of the things that made the list, and they had never heard of any of them.
Well, tell us about number one. What was number one?
Number one was a new XSS technique called Mutation XSS, put out by a guy named Mario in Germany. He's got his PhD in XSS, I think. I don't know how you do that, but but he does it. And he put out a really...
Is that a real thing?
I think we wrote our book too early.
I know.
Some of us wrote books, some of us stay in academia, right? So he's got his PhD, and he puts out tons of great XSS stuff all the time. He runs HTML5sec.org. It's a really good cheat sheet for HTML5 security. And he came out with a new XSS technique that broke tons of blacklists. It broke all sorts of filters. It even avoided CSP. So that's number one this year. But as past years go, this year is very similar, strong encryption focus. Everyone really, really likes when we break SSL. Breach is number two, and those guys, they have a really cool live demo where they just completely decrypt SSL traffic in 30 seconds.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Heartbleed's going to make the top 10 next year.
It's already on the community vote list.
I don't know if you even put that on the list.
What?
Because it's not really a technique. It's kind of an implementation. It's not a new technique.
Maybe. No.
There'll be some debate there.
We'll let the community vote and decide on that.
So if people aren't if they can't attend your talk, because obviously they're not here, where do they find out? Where do they go see this stuff?
So we've done this. We did a webinar of this talk, so that link is probably available on White Hat's website. And I've done this talk at B-Sides LA last week, and that recording is available online. And basically, if you Google for that blog post, we'll have links of versions of this talk.
So that's a really good talk for breakers, because if you couldn't pay attention the entire year, it's like the 10 issues in 5-minute, 6-minute increments, so you kind of kept up to speed.
It's basically the TLDR of 10 Black Hat talks. It's really
some
like...
Some of them are freaking amazing, like the Pixel Perfect Time.
Oh, that's...
It's like near and dear to my
heart. I wish it was number one. Yeah, that's my favorite thing to talk about. I love it. We have to try to squeeze this into an hour, and it's really hard. There's some really cool talks.
What's awesome this year because crypto the last 2 years took the top spots. You got cross-site scripting as number one this year.
But 3 of the top 5 are crypto still, so it's still pretty well loved. It's really hard stuff. It's even hard for Jonathan and I to wrap our brain around it, to be able to convey some of the really deep theoretical crypto research that people do. It's really rough.
So Robert, what are you up to at the conference today? What are the takeaways here? What are you interested in looking at?
Well, I think one of the most interesting things so far was actually a meeting we had yesterday. Got a bunch of, you were there, of course, some big thinkers in the security space, specifically web application space, and how we change marketing spend, change dollars and perception, and get people focused on putting their dollars in the right places, the right choke points, actually improving security. And I thought, it was a very long meeting. Got a little heated at points, but I think that, the harsh reality is that we have a long, long road ahead of us, and maybe there's some interesting stuff we can do, but
it's kind of an interesting opportunity for people that are entering the industry. The industry is maybe 10, 15 years old now, but the industry really just started. If you're, it's a lot of opportunity for new people coming in with fresh ideas, new tech, new procedures. It's going to be interesting.
The internet is growing extremely fast. We need a lot more people in it, helping out.
And that came up a lot, especially at the conference. Everybody's talking about education, like education. I want to learn. And we're going to need a lot more people. So how do we educate the masses? I mean, that's everywhere.
Yeah.
I think Jerry Hoff just did a developer boot camp for us online, 4 hours. He had 2,000 registrations and 900 attendees. So he's reaching the masses. So education is big.
Yeah, agreed.
I was just talking to him. He I think he did a European tour recently too, and with the developer training, I think at one room he had 2,000 people in the room. So I mean, yeah.
Really?
Developer application security training. So
Wow.
getting out of the echo chamber for sure.
So why aren't we getting more secure then?
It takes a while.
We need a lot more. A lot more.
Well, again, that's what we talked about, that there's 2 problems in AppSec other than the spend issue. But one is the code, the buggy code that's already written. How do we fix that? But the other one is the education going forward is only meant to affect the code that has yet to be written. So that's kind of difficult to know if we're making an impact there.
Yeah. And how many of those 2,000 people were just sleeping? Just trying to get CPEs or something?
Yeah,
Jerry gave his heart out anyway, right? You're here for the free lunch, doesn't matter. You get full Jerry Hoff.
And there was that other bug. I didn't get a chance. You guys take a look at that other one from this week, the Android browser privacy flaw. It was the same origin policy bypass.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
That was pretty good. I think it had to do with a no bite actually.
It came up. I think the interesting part is how it was found. It was like in a discussion with Google. Someone was like, "Oh wait, that shouldn't have happened." It wasn't like someone who found the bug in traditional means. It was just through a conversation with Google about something else. So it was pretty interesting.
Huh.
Yeah. iOS 8's coming out this week. Tons of security
applications there.
It's out. Yep.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I guess somebody at the conference here bricked their phone with it, so
Yeah.
that was good.
It's like Jones and oh, with the phone.
I bet both of you can't wait to just start paying for everything with your fingerprint.
Oh, excellent. That sounds like a good idea.
I'll pay for everything with Robert's fingerprint.
This sounds like a mob movie.
Hack. That's precisely why we'll never use it.
So there's a couple of more good sessions. I saw one today with John Dixon from the Denim Group. They did an application security developer survey, mostly around education and computer-based training. And do architects do better than developers? Some great data in there. Sometimes CBT works, sometimes it doesn't work, and under what conditions he was going through that. So the survey had some really good data from a lot of developers. And I'm interested to see if there's some way to cross-correlate survey data like that with actual outcomes. Does it actually produce more secure code at the end? So,
and how much more secure?
How much more secure? Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to do education, but we have no metrics on how valuable it ends up being at the end of the day.
Right.
And but one of the weird things is that if you ask the question in a given year, how much software security training should a developer have? How many hours worth of training is acceptable?
That's a hard number to try to pull.
Yeah.
And I've heard of some companies capping it at 10. like 10 hours, that's it, because they
At
want
once or
throughout the year. Like capped it at 10 because we want them coding the rest of the time.
Yeah, but like, are we talking? I mean, 10 all at once, or like
10 in a
1
class,
hour?
No,
like,
10 in a classroom. 10 total hours classroom, 1 hour per class, one whole day. It was like 10. Because imagine every time they go in, they use company time for training. That's features that are not getting written.
That's kind of why I like the teachable moments thing that FishMe does. I like it because it's sort of impromptu. He sends them an email, they click on it, and like, oh no, I'm compromised, and the adrenaline hits them, and they're more likely to remember what's going on, and it doesn't cost you as much time, you know.
So we start introducing bugs into their code.
Hard lessons, I
On the-
see.
on the
Okay.
fly.
Teachable moments, you want to call
Or
it.
you
okay?
just tell them, oh, we got hacked because of your code, and
Right,
they
right.
freak out.
Yeah.
So let's wrap this up. So we're going to spend another day and a half at the conference, seeing what things we can learn, and maybe do a summary afterwards and on those sorts of things.
Sounds great.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.